We're here to talk about the state of the nation. How would you rate the state of the nation at the moment in Kenya with all that is going on?
We are in a state that is a little worrying, because those in power don't seem either to know they are in power and or really seem to be confident about what they should do. There's a lot of uncertainty in the country.
Yeah. Now, yesterday we saw the Azimio coalition take the whistleblower rally to Kamkunji, which the president greatly criticized before that. Now, do you think this Kamkunji rally will in any way divide the country?
What I think is going to happen or might happen is these rallies will become more and more. The citizens will become more and more engaged. And let us assume the whistleblower account is true. Then the citizen will in these activities be pushing the government to give them their rights, which is a stolen election. I fear it could get ugly.
Yeah, but at the moment, the whistleblower is anonymous. The opposition leader, Raila Odinga, has not really mentioned or said so much about it. Now, do you think he should at least just put it point blank what he's talking about, or is it safe for him to put it at that at the moment?
I think these issues are risky. Even though you say you put your life on the line for a country, there's just so far you can go. I don't think you are going to walk in Nairobi and say, here I am. It's not easy. We are all human.
Now, the president, after that Kamkunji rally, said he does not want a handshake with the opposition, with the Azimio side. But at the same time, he says he knows that's the motive the opposition side has. But the Azimio leader says he does not recognize this government. So who do you think will blink first? Because now it looks like there's a supremacy battle between the two sides. Who will blink first?
It is situations that decide who blinks first. If Raila doesn't marshal sufficient national grassroots support, he seems to be mobilizing along those lines. If he doesn't mobilize sufficient to scare Ruto, then he will blink first. But if he mobilizes people across the country, it's Ruto who will blink. So the situation will determine who will blink first.
All right, but at the moment, do you really see any chances of them having a handshake? That handshake that they both say they are not going to take part in it?
The Ruto I know and the Raila I know lead me into believing Raila can be open to a handshake. He has that history, and I think he means well for the country. The Ruto I know, I highly doubt. I highly doubt. It can only happen if he's been pushed to the corner.
But you say opposition leader Raila Odinga means well for the country. And yesterday in one of his clarion calls, he said that he called on Kenyans to resist the UDA government. What's your take on that?
You know, calling for people to resist the government doesn't mean you don't love the people or the country. It simply could mean that where things have reached, unless drastic action such as that is taken, then the country will go down the drain. So that's it.
Now, still on that Kamkunji rally, yesterday Martha Karua was saying bado inawezekana. Do you think there's still hope for Azimio right now in 2022? Since the leaders remains a stand that there is still hope. Kalonzo Musyoka, on the other hand, was saying that the country cannot move forward without justice. So, what do they really mean?
I think basically what they mean is, you know, first of all, this country is divided down the middle, you know, and there are people who are hurting because of the last election. There are millions of people who believe this election was stolen, and they are hurting. They may not be on the streets, but inside them they are hurting. So I think the situation, from my reading, has reached a stage where people on one side of the divide have come to the conclusion that you cannot win an election in this country. 2007, 2013, 17, up to now. And therefore there is drastic action, like pushing those who cannot release power when another person has gotten that power. They are supposed to be pushed to a point where they will have to cede ground.
Yeah.
And I think that's what Martha Karua and Kalonzo Musyoka and Raila Odinga seem to be aiming at.
Yeah.
That was pushing so that change this time does not necessarily come through the ballot, but through whether it's negotiated, but after somebody has blinked, like you said.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now let's talk about the Jubilee breakfast meeting yesterday at State House, right before the Kamukunji rally. What's your take on that? Is it a strategic plan on the side of the president? What's your take on that meeting?
You know, the president has not hidden the fact that he wants to do what Mo used to do. Mo did in 1992, going for defections.
Yeah.
Weakening the opposition and bringing everyone aside.
Yeah.
That's part of the strategy. But also it's normal in this country, politicians are hungry people. If they see one side has money, there's food, they'll rush there to take their stomachs there.
Right.
All I can say is that if it is strategy, it's bad strategy. First of all, it portrays the president as hell-bent on 2027, which is not good. Because people are suffering in this country. They are likely to forgive you if they know you are trying, but circumstances are difficult. But if they see you are concentrating 24/7 on politics and they are going to bed hungry, they may not understand, leave alone forgive you. You get it?
Yeah.
Another thing is, you see, supposing the president succeeds getting everybody from Raila, these leaders,
Yeah.
he leaves Raila a very dangerous animal, a wounded animal. And that's dangerous for the country.
Yeah.
Because then you leave Raila with no option but to put his case directly to the people. And that's how you must understand Kamukunji, Jacaranda, and many of these things that are going to follow.
Yeah.
That you can have the leaders, okay? But so long as the people are suffering, there's hunger in this country, there is pain. So long as people are suffering with all this pain, you can take all the leaders you want. The people will listen to me and we will show you that you cannot have your way, even with all those leaders. For that reason, the president should prepare for more of Kamukunjis.
All right. Now, the president says he wants a stronger opposition in the country, but if it keeps taking these MPs from Azimio's side, then how will it be possible for the country to have a strong opposition if these are the side everybody's leaving to the Kenya Kwanza government?
You know, that's the problem with these politicians of ours. They say this, they mean this. They say this today. This has been a government of doublespeak, of saying one thing today and saying exactly different tomorrow. You cannot say you want an opposition like you're putting it and go all out to lure opposition leaders. It doesn't add up.
All right, now let's take it back a little bit. About yesterday's Kamukunji rally, the opposition leader was saying that the Supreme Court, two of the most critical bodies in the elections, the Supreme Court and IEBC, were mad by cartels during that last year's election period. What's your take on that, especially in the Supreme Court?
Raila may say there are cartels controlling the Supreme Court, the judiciary, IEBC. She's a politician.
Yes.
I wouldn't say that. But what I can say is that from my own independent observation, these elections were anything but free and fair. Number one. Number two, I respect the judgment from the Supreme Court. But I don't agree with it. It had so many gaps. There are so many holes. I have problem believing learned men can deliver that kind of judgment. But we respect the judgment. And we cannot talk about cartels. We are not politicians. Let Raila talk about cartels.
Okay. Now, about President Ruto's visit to Kisumu County, I understand that he welcomed the president to the Lake region, but at the same time he says he does not recognize this government. So what do you take of that?
You know, someone like Raila is in a very tricky situation. You know, like governors, for example, the law as it is compels them to work with the national government. That's the architecture of the constitution. Secondly, there's this thing Kenyans call development, and which they think wrongly that the president can give. So there are certain things you can do, like if you are Raila and the people say, you want to stand in the way between us and the development. Even your own people can say that. But more critically, is that, until otherwise, Ruto is the president.
Yeah.
You may say you don't recognize him, but who is in State House? So Raila is not naive. He's awake to the fact that Ruto is the president of the Republic of Kenya. Legitimacy notwithstanding. So you are saying from a point of legitimacy, this man is not the president of Kenya. I don't recognize him. I don't recognize his victory.
Yeah.
But you know that legally and constitutionally, Kenya has a president in the person of William Ruto. So, I mean, it's very difficult.
Yeah. So before we let you go, Professor, what do you think is the way forward for Azimio going forward?
It is not what is way forward for Azimio. It's way forward for this country.
Yeah.
And therefore, it doesn't involve Azimio alone or Raila alone. It is for Raila and Ruto to know this country is bigger than the two of them.
I was coming to that point of the country, but I wanted first of all to know this coalition with these rallies.
I think since Ruto has shown that he's not
interested in
willing to intransigent, if you wish, he's not willing to blink, if you wish, he's not willing to listen, if you wish, he's not open to reason. He doesn't recognize the opposition as a group or team of people he can engage at that level. Then I think Azimio will just push on with their agenda, which is pushing the government through mass action.
Now, let's now come back now to the final question. Now, what next for the country?
I think, it's a very simple thing.
Yeah.
All these players, they must know the country is bigger than them. And when things go south, nobody wins.
Yeah.
If you are the president and mass action become ugly, first of all, investor confidence goes down.
Yeah.
A situation that is bad becomes worse because the little employment there is goes down.
Yeah.
The few investors who are here actually pack and go. So even if you remain president of what country? Is it a functional country? But worse is if this sort of mass action then pushes you into a situation where you are now negotiating from a position of weakness, you don't come out well. And you could also lose power. You won't even be the first person to lose power through mass action.
Yeah.
Why would he wait for that? And for Raila Odinga, he too must know. Whenever people do what we call street impeachment, when citizens of our country spill into the streets for change, more often than not, this is rarely structured. And therefore, even for Raila, he must know, nobody ever gains. There is never a winner in this situation. So if they were able to see what I'm seeing, it will simply mean they can sit down and talk. It doesn't show you are weak. I think the president thinks if he sits down with Raila, he'll be showing he's like Uhuru, like Kibaki, he's weak like... No, it doesn't. It shows you are strong. It shows you understand the situation. It shows you are a statesman. It shows you know country is bigger than you as a president.
Yeah.
So, both Raila and Ruto, they should find it in their heart. There should be space in their heart for this country. And they sit down and talk. Because I can tell you, and I've said before, today, this country is as safe as the game Raila chooses to play.
All right, that is Professor Herman Manyora weighing in on the state of the nation at this point in time. We are taking a second short break at that point, so stay tuned.